What's good, everybody? Welcome to a live stream of the show that's cooler and fly too. A1 Forever Sports. I am Chris Tip Moore. My bad about earlier. If anybody caught the 2:30, I didn't have my little Hawks gear in the back. Sent up just to represent. But this is a live stream segment. I wanted to try out the live streams. Been getting a few ideas and a few people telling me, "Hey man, try to live." So here we go, man. Live stream sports talk, A1 Forever Sports style. While settle for less, we can have more with the vision. With that in mind, I'm trying to envision to see what the Atlanta Hawks are trying to do. I was in the building last night, witnessed the game firsthand. Hawks won that first half. Hawks was doing good. They actually won the first and second quarter, 29 and 30 to 27. That second half, Gilders Alexander woke up for like 2.5 quarters. You kept Gilders Alexander under control. He had like 14 points, and it was like 5 minutes left in the third. And then next thing you know, he started getting to the line, causing havoc for the Hawks defense for what it was. Already coming into the game, of course, no John Collins, no DeAndre Hunter, and those two guys were missed. Mainly, I believe Hunter. Culver is good at defense, but let's just be honest, he's not DeAndre Hunter. He's not even the player DeAndre Hunter is. And you've seen that last night as an example. We needed a little bit more defense on Gilders Alexander. And if Hunter was available, I definitely believe that would have been the matchup right there. And then you can like kind of float everybody else around to different assignments. But in that third and fourth quarter, Gilders Alexander, but more importantly, Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey scored 12 of his points in the final quarter. He had 17. So going into the fourth quarter, Giddey had 5 and he scored 12. So with those two guys together, equaled a recipe for disaster for the Hawks. Definitely disaster for the Hawks. So Gilders Alexander was 10 for 22 from the field, but he was 15 for 15 from the free throw line. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Just letting him get to the line. A lot of calls, some calls were fouls, some calls was like, come on now. But the ref's going to be ref. We can't leave it up until the refs, especially when you have a 14-point lead, as the Hawks did, and they just lost it. It's like the Hawks couldn't make any more shots. They couldn't do anything productive, in that fourth quarter, especially. And stop me if you heard this before, but more fourth quarter woes. More fourth quarter woes for the Atlanta Hawks, man. Murray, he had 24. I know Trey, he dropped 23 himself. Get you more in depth here. Going back to, like I said, Gilders Alexander. I'm sorry, Josh Giddey. I want to speak on Josh Giddey. Two or four from the 3-point line. Like I said, his 17 points, 12 of them came in the fourth. It's absolutely terrible. The defensive arrangements and assignments just was absolutely just terrible. I definitely need more from the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, going into some stats here. DeJounte Murray, 10 for 21, 3 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 24 points. Like I said, Trey added 23 and 10. The double-double that he produces. Capella with 16 and 14, continuously being Mr. Get My Extension Ready. So you definitely got to look into it. I mean, AJ Griffin, he also produced 11 points as he's continuously getting minutes and continuously should get minutes. But the guy of the night was Bogdan Bogdanovic, 5 of 10 from 3, 6 of 13 from the field, 22 minutes. Had minute restrictions, but it was great to see that man get out there, get up some shots, knock down some shots. It's going to go both well for his confidence moving forward and what he's able to do on the court for the Hawks. And that's 17 off the bench. I understand no Hunter and no Collins, so he was able to get a few more touches. But if he can give you 17 off the bench constantly and consistently, hey, that'll bode well for the Atlanta Hawks. Um, Coach's decision: no Justin, no Aaron Holiday, no Kaminsky, no Therese Martin. Guys, we have to figure this second half thing out. We have to figure it out. I don't know what the Hawks really can just do outside of just play who they can play because you have injuries. You need JC and you definitely need Hunter. Hunter hopefully will be back. Maybe sometime this week. I didn't get a chance to check the injury report to see just yet if he will be in New York or not. But you definitely need that guy. And JC, I know he'll be out a little longer. So you're going to have to weather the storm with that. But matchups and competition is only going to continuously get harder as the season is drawn out. The Hawks are now 13 and 11. 13 and 11, and you go from, and it's crazy because the Hawks are still in the 4th seed, but you have to start stringing together wins, Atlanta, because we're on this flip-flop seesaw trail. 1 minute we win a game, and then it's the next minute you lose a game. Really, if you date back to us the last time we beat the Bucks, it's really kind of been seesawing. We've been trading back and forth with games. Atlanta really, if they was able to focus and produce better on the court, and that's just as a team, that's players, coaching staff, collectively, they were able to do that, then your record would show it. The Hawks should definitely have at least about 17, 18 wins, realistically speaking. Anybody that's watched this team and really pay attention and focus on this team should already see that and know that as well, that I'm telling the complete facts about that. The Hawks have let too many games go, and they already having these internal issues. I know Trey and Nate kind of downplay it, but regardless, it's news. Regardless, it got out, so it's got to be like something to it, correct? Trey didn't play against the Nuggets. I was in attendance in that game, and I can personally say Trey was not on the bench whatsoever. So that definitely was valid. JC and Hunter, they was on the bench cheering on the squad. I don't know exactly what that I don't know what the result of that is going to end up being, but I'm hoping that the Hawks can just get it together as we're on the road. We have a couple of games on the road before we come back home against the Bulls on the 11th, I believe. But going to New York, we have another opponent that we just don't want anyone to get any bragging rights against. I know the East is tight, the West is tight, the NBA conferences are really tight. Everything is really looking even. And Atlanta, even though they're the 4th seed, they still have to compete with the top 3 teams. They have to keep pace because the East is so tight that you lose and go on a little losing streak. Hypothetically speaking, you can go on a losing streak or a winning streak and either rise or fall just like that. You lose 2 games, you may be in 8th or 9th place. You win 2 games, you have a possibility of being a 3rd seed, 4th seed consistently. That's just how tight it is in the East right now. Western Conference is the same way, but this is Atlanta Hawks sports talk. Moving forward, what else I want to discuss? Oh, I mean, of course, talking about just team stats. The Hawks, and they was able to win the rebounding battle, but you lost the turnover battle, and guess what? 19 points off of turnovers for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Second half woes is continuously being the problem for the Hawks. They have to figure out the formula. They have to figure out the formula and exactly what they can do to pretty much produce and pretty much can come up with a consistent flow of wins. That's my main concern of finding ways to win. You have leads, so you have the talent to have the leads, but it's something that the coaching staff is doing, and it's also the players not relaying the message from the coaches onto the floor. You have guys who are lost out there, a few rookie mistakes. and you have just better players sometimes just taking over the game, like Gildress Alexander. And then Giddy just he benefited off of it. He really did. Hawks, man, I really hate this, man, because we have this road trip coming up, man, and I'm really hoping that we can really just pull it around. Again, I'm just doing this live real quick just to have a little sports talk with you guys. And I want you guys' opinions and everything about our team, the Atlanta Hawks, and what kind of changes could possibly be made. I love to hear other people's insight as well, because I can talk all day about it, but I don't want to keep going on and on and on about how I feel. I like to hear from other people as well. So anytime I do a live, I don't mind anyone tapping in on topics, questions, anything like that. Definitely don't mind handling that and talking with you guys about this sports. Atlanta Hawks sports talk, Atlanta Falcons sports talk. Going to touch on the Falcons in a moment here. But 13 and 11, fourth in the Eastern Conference, but it's heavy. It's tough sledding, man. You got to start stringing these wins together. You have to. You had a chance last night to be on a three-game winning streak after just coming off that three-game losing streak that you had. Have to start stringing more wins together. It'd be nice if the Hawks can start going on like a 4 or 5 game win streak before they would lose a game, at least to pick up more wins, pick up more pace, and pick up more ground just in that Eastern Conference. Because again, you have tough sledding coming up. You have New York, then you have Brooklyn, and Brooklyn has been ascending quietly. I think they're like the sixth seed now in the Eastern Conference, in that tight Eastern Conference now. So you don't want to drop that game, and you'll see them again later on in December as well. You don't want to drop any games to them. Like I said, you got the Bulls coming up. You had them twice this month. I'm gonna go see them on the 21st myself, Hawks and Bulls. So you have some quality opponents that's in the East that are coming up that you have to take care of business against, so you can continue to get those conference wins and ascend up in the East. String those wins together, Atlanta. That hurt last night. That loss against OKC, that hurt. Defensive rotations, you can definitely see that DeAndre Hunter and John Collins was completely missed. It's different. It's different. I was telling a friend of mine, it's different to where something happens mid game and you kind of got to make coaching adjustments. Some coaches are able to do that, some teams are able to do that. And you can possibly catch the other team off guard with effort and just being a competitor. But it's a little different when a coaching staff has time to prepare for certain players and they know a certain player is not going to participate in the game, so they exploit the matchup. That's pretty much what happened in the second half. Adjustments, matchups, points, fouls, 14-point lead dwindled down. They take the lead from you. You don't get it back. Next thing you know, you have 11 losses. 13 and 11. You're almost catching pace with your wins. That's not the type of team that I believe the Atlanta Hawks are. I believe the Atlanta Hawks are definitely way better than what they are and what they've produced on the court so far. They just got to get some consistency down, get healthy, of course, but we can't put it all on health alone, because you have other teams who have some injuries. Not necessarily saying maybe to their starting five even, but still, a team is a team, and we got to figure it out. I can't figure it out. You can't figure it out. The coaching staff has to figure it out. And I know the more and more that this team loses, the more fuel is added to the flames of Coach Nate McMillan. Fans want him gone. Fans are not calling for the players to be gone. Fans are calling for the coaching staff to be gone. You know, and then when you also have an argument with your star player for whatever reason it is, which I'm pretty sure stuff like that has been going on for years. It just hasn't been on public record. But the fact that it is public record is out there for the world to see, and the world knows, hey, Coach Nate and their star player got into it. Recipe for disaster, regardless. Distractions you don't need. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why the Hawks lost last night. No, not at all, because the Hawks have been having second half and more importantly, fourth quarter struggles. As I've dated back in previous videos, make sure you go check out that content and subscribe to A1 Forever for more Hawks content, sports content, as I continue to produce more content and also still going to school and learning more tips and tricks to continue to produce better content for you guys. That's all I really want to do. I'm doing this here for my enjoyment, but more so for your guys' enjoyment and information, uh, giving informative information and just genuine ideas about our Atlanta teams. So I want to get into the Atlanta Falcons. Want to get into the Atlanta Falcons, about to change gears here. Change gears here to the Falcons. Like I said, just a little live stream, trying things out here. Not really used to the live stream, but I want to get used to it. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to give a little live stream action here. And thank you all to my subscribers. Thank you to every last one of you guys. Continuously trying to grow this channel, continuously being great. And like I said, I don't think I want to do is just continue this sports talk here. 1 second, computer is doing something weird. I don't understand. Technology just wants to do whatever it wants to do. 1 second. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, man. I was in attendance at the Steelers game as well. The Atlanta Falcons and the Steelers game. You know, Falcons dropped that one as well, 16-19. You were down by 10 at halftime from the get-go. Kenny Pickett, you couldn't get him on the ground. You couldn't get Pickett on the ground. Pickett, he out there just running around, doing what he does, looking like, I don't know, looking like a baby Josh Allen just out there how he's running. You know, it was just absolutely terrible. And we couldn't get him on the ground. That's just continuously been a problem for us getting a quarterback on the ground. We didn't get cause any turnovers as well. And I say you down by 10 at halftime, and then like I said, they score one more field goal, and then they didn't even score anymore. The Falcons defense was able to hold these guys to 3 points in the second half. Falcons scored 10, but Falcons should have definitely scored more touchdowns. Run the ball. That's all I could really just scream and say at the game where I was at. I was just screaming, run the ball, especially in that fourth quarter. I did not want to see any pass plays happen at all. But of course, you have to pass the ball eventually. And of course, a couple of penalties as well hurt the Atlanta Falcons tremendously. Hurt the Falcons tremendously. And when you having those penalties coming back to when you next thing you know, you like 3rd and 20, second and 20, 1st and 20. It's just it puts you behind the 8 ball. You Falcons were running the ball so well in that second half, especially in the fourth quarter, and to come away with the loss the way you did, it absolutely hurts. It absolutely hurts. The Falcons also had what on that last play for what at the end toward the end of the game, I recall. I already seen it. I seen it coming, man. I seen Mariota coming. He dropped back, couldn't go too far anyway because you're already in the end zone. He lets it go. What happened? Picked off. I already seen the other DB with Fitzpatrick. He was already cutting it off. I already seen it happening. Absolutely frustrating. Back-to-back ways to lose games. I don't understand why you're not running the ball. Running the ball is the best thing for the Falcons. That's the best thing that they have going for them this season. Run the ball until they just They couldn't stop them. The Steelers could not stop the Atlanta Falcons. The Commanders could not stop the Atlanta Falcons. In that fourth quarter is what I'm talking about. They could not stop them from running the ball. But penalties and just coaching decisions, all of a sudden you just stop doing your bread and butter. There was no reason to throw the ball against the Commanders. Run the ball. They haven't stopped you. Run the ball. They're not stopping you. I don't understand why some coaches like try to get too cute or try to outthink themselves. For me, it would be simple. And I'm no coach and I don't want to be a coach. But I'm just saying, if I'm in that situation to where they're saying, hey, coach this play, I'm running the ball because I just know what I just seen the last 12 plays. I'm running the ball. You're going to get the ball ran down your throat because that's what we do. That's what we do best. And now we're wearing you down and you're not stopping it. I'm going to continue to run the ball, giving you doses of Algier, giving you doses of Patterson, giving you doses of Huntley, giving you doses of Williams, Mariota too. I'm running the ball regardless. Even if I have to do an end around with Drake London, the ball is getting ran. And that's what I just don't understand about the Falcons the last 2 weeks, honestly. And it's also like hurt their playoff chances. The Saints last night had one job, played 4.5 quarters. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. They played 3.5 quarters of good football, I guess you can call it. And then all of a sudden, you just let them back in it. It was like 3-16 in the fourth quarter or something like that. Matter of fact, let me see this. The Buccaneers scored with 3 minutes left to go, and the Saints, y'all couldn't hold it. See, that's that stuff I'll be talking about. You had one job, but that's neither here or there. We have to do our job, and we just haven't done it the past 2 weeks. The Atlanta Falcons have not done their job the last 2 weeks, man. And this is just me just giving opinions and everything like that. I don't necessarily coming in here for stats and everything like I said. I'm just doing a live stream, giving my thoughts and just opinions about what's going on. It has to be changes made. Changes have to be made. Coaching staff talking about, oh yeah, everything is on the table and all this stuff like that. The thing about it, the thing should have been on the table. Just realistically speaking. Me and a buddy of mine talking about, hey, it could have happened after the Carolina game. And that's true. That's very true. But since you didn't do that, and then like I told him, Marcus Mariota, he came in and won that game against the Bears. And I was telling people in previous videos and also just talking basic Atlanta sports that Mariota has a leash. And the more that he wins, the longer it gets. And that's why he won against the Bears. I feel like if we lost that game against the Bears, after we had just lost against the Panthers, the way we did, I really believe that we possibly could have seen a quarterback change there. But we won that game, and we went into the Commanders game with Mariota because he had just won that last game. He just won it. Next thing you know, tip drill, pick, you lose that game. Should have ran the ball. That's a coaching decision. You can't really just put that on Mariota. And even that day in the game, just seeing Mariota even throw the ball. 80% out of the times that you see Mariota throw the ball, it doesn't look good necessarily. Whether if it's a completion or not, it doesn't necessarily look good. So in that wet condition, teams are going to continuously put their hand up to try to bat down the ball because they already know what Mariota is. Other teams know what Mariota is. It's people within the Falcons organization that's trying to mask it, but it's right there. Mask off. Everyone can see it. Everyone can see it. Everyone's seeing it and can see it. Seeing it in the game, and you can see it weekly basis, week to week. I was in there saying, like, man, just him being Mariota being accurate is just not in him. Not for 4 quarters, not for 3 quarters sometimes. He is what he is, but he is our quarterback. He does some things that other quarterbacks can't do, but it's some basic things that we need him to do that he's incapable of as well. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's not good for the Falcons. So, with that being said, bring in the rook. Bring in the rook. It's time for the Atlanta Falcons to bring in the rook. We need to see what Desmond Ritter is. We need a spark. We need to shake up some things, shake up some teams, make them wonder who they have to game plan, anything that we have to do, because there's only one way the Atlanta Falcons are getting into the playoffs, and that's by winning the division. Unfortunately, just like I said, Saints um could not hold on for the victory to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So now you are now 2 games behind the Buccaneers. 2 games now. Because what, the 6-6, you're 5-8. And you're going on by. So you have to wear that. You got to wear that all the way until you get to the Superdome. And when you get to the Superdome, you need to take care of business down there because you already supposed to beat them in week 1. The Falcons, I think it's like their 6th loss of a game with that was decided by less than 6 points or less than 5 points. The Falcons could easily be like 9-2, 10-2, something like that. Or they could easily be 2-10. So it's a thin line, but they've been close. And that's what kind of keeps you optimistic about the Atlanta Falcons, because they've been close. They've been close in different areas and different aspects. Moving forward, bye week for the Falcons. I really hope to see Desmond Ritter getting some first team reps, man. Just see what the kid has. Because right now we're already behind the 8 ball anyway. It's either going to be greatness and good, and we see what we got to see what we should be going for in the draft. Because hopefully, Ritter comes in and does well, then we don't have to be looking at more quarterbacks. But if he comes in looking like Mariota or even worse, you need to know that as well, because you're behind the 8 ball. The Saints game is a must win. If you lose against the Saints and the Bucks just so happen to beat the 49ers, that may be your playoff chances right there. You have a slim chance still to pull this off. But the Falcons kind of got to run the table. You have to beat the Saints, then you have to take on the Ravens, take on the Cardinals, and then you got the Bucks. You have to win those 3 games, and you need the Bucks to drop at least 2 of theirs to even have an opportunity. Basically, Falcons, you can't lose anymore. And if you do lose, you got to hope that the Bucks lose out. You got to hope that this was their last win, because they got the 49ers, the Bengals, the Cardinals, and us. If I'm not mistaken, that's their last few games. So you need them to lose out, or you at least need them to lose those first 2. Even if they do beat the Cardinals, hopefully you taking care of business, you beat the Cardinals as well. And then going forward, you come up with a showdown against the Bucks for the division. That's pretty much your only playoff hopes. That's the situation that we're in now, because we didn't take care of business against the Commanders. I mean, I can go back further than that, but I'm gonna stop right there. We didn't take any care of business against the Commanders. We didn't take care of business against the Steelers, and now, like, it's frustrating after every game that you lose to kind of be hoping that the other team could just lose too. That's not a way that I want to watch football. It's not a way I want to watch my team. So I'm just kind of really frustrated with Atlanta sports right now. We got to get it together. I'm tired of getting text messages and phone calls about, hey man, your team's tripping, woot woot, and everything, because y'all really don't understand. Being a Atlanta sports fan and having friends or associates and everything like that with other teams that they enjoy, and they come up off of your team. I have team people hitting me up, hey man, I bet it against your Atlanta Hawks. And when I got that bet, that's not what I want to hear. But I'm not on the floor, neither is anyone else. This right here has just been a little live stream. Um, just wanted to check this live stream thing out, get a feel for it, and I will work on getting better, continuously work on making myself uncomfortable so I can get comfortable with my feel. And I want to say once again, thank you to all my subscribers as I continuously try to build this channel to 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and beyond. That is really a goal for me. I'm not just doing this for a hobby or anything like that. I really enjoy sports and I really enjoy each and every one of you guys. So thank you for anyone who watches this live stream, taps into it, or anything like that. I really appreciate it. Be generational because it's always time to be the show that's cooler and fly too. A1 Forever Sports, Chris Tip Moore here. Why you gonna settle for less when you can have more with a vision? Until next time, until the next live stream, because I'm gonna do this again. This wasn't bad. I'll holler.